Good morning, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. I am back. I am Mambi at your service. So, for today, allow me to present to you my lesson for quarter 3, week 1, which is about permutations. Okay? So, sa permutations, sometimes you are going to encounter this yung mga coins, dice, cards, and more. Objectives of our lesson: first, you are going to define permutation. Next, illustrate the permutation using a tree diagram, systematic listing, and tabular method. Third, recall the concepts about FCP, or otherwise known as the fundamental counting principle. And then, derive permutation formulas and apply them in problem solving. So, this sounds interesting, isn't it? Ano nga ba yung permutations na yan? So, this is an arrangement of items in a particular order. So, this is something to do with arrangement. So, when it comes to permutation, the order matters. Ayan. So, importante yung pagkakasunod-sunod, yung pagkakaayos. So, yan ang permutation. Na kapag nagkabaliktad, it's wrong. And to find the number of permutations of n items, we can use the fundamental counting principle or factorial notation. So, for the illustration of permutations, there are three. First, by using tree diagram. Second, by systematic listing. And third, by table. Let's have the first example. During fiesta, as one of our traditions, sweet delicacies are always present. Your mother prepares 3 types of this: ube ngalaya, buko salad, and sweetened makapuno. If you are supposed to help your mother in preparing the dishes to be served to your visitors, then in how many possible ways can you serve the 3 sweet delicacies? So, syempre, hindi sabay-sabay ang pagsuserve ng delicacies. So, paano nyo daw siya isa-serve? Yung tatlong yan. So, let me show you first by using tree diagram. So, take note ha, we have 3 delicacies: ube, salad, makapuno. So, unahin ko muna yung ube. So, I want to serve ube. So, ano yung susunod ko sa ube? So, pwedeng salad, then followed by makapuno. O kaya, babaliktarin ko yung salad makapuno. So, ube, makapuno, salad. Okay, so meron na agad akong dalawang set ng order ng pagkakasunod-sunod. Next, gusto ko unahin ng salad. Okay. So, anong susunod sa salad? Pwedeng makapuno at ang huli ube. O babalik-tarin ko yung dalawa. Ube muna bago makapuno. Ayan. So, nakabuo na ako ng 4 na klase. Next, kung uunahin ko makapuno. So, ano yung susunod ko sa makapuno? Pwedeng salad, huli ko yung ube. Or baliktarin ko yung dalawa, ube, or salad. And the last one is salad. So, nakabuo na ako ng 6. So, ito yung by using tree diagram. So, out of 3 items. Now, for listing, systematic listing, heto na po siya. Gamit tayo ng mga abbreviation. So, U for ube, S for salad, M for makapuno. So, yan ang aking first listing. USM. Second, UMS. Okay, third, SMU, fourth, SUM, fifth, MSU, and then the sixth, MUS. So, we got 6 outcomes. So, mamaya dun sa by table, sa isang example ko siya ipapakita. Ayan. So, that's how to find the arrangement of items by using tree diagram and systematic listing. So, medyo mahaba yung proseso. Maghanap tayo ng medyo madali-daling proseso mamaya. Now, binanggit ka nga to find the permutation, pwede natin gamitin ang factorial notation. Or in symbol, it's look like a question mark. So, when we say factorial notation, if n is a positive integer, n factorial is a product of all positive integers less than n or equal to n. So, multiply lang natin yung mga numbers na yan. So, halimbawa, doon sa ating example kanina, meron tayong 3 items. Ube, salad, makapuno. So, 3 siya. Ibig sabihin yan, n is equal to 3. So, this becomes 3 factorial. Therefore, 3 factorial is equal to 3 times 2 times 1 is equal to 6. So, therefore, 3 factorial is equal to 6. So, yun na ibig sabihin ng factorial. Multiply natin yung mga numbers that is less than or equal to n. So, dahil ang n natin ay 3, nag-start tayo sa 3. So, 3 times 2 times 1. So, kailangan not greater than n. Not greater than. So, in our example, not greater than 3. So, it should be equal to 3 or less than 3. So, let's have more examples. So, evaluate the following. First, 2 factorial. So, when we say 2 factorial, it's 2 times 1 equals 2. Second, 4 factorial. So, when we say 4 factorial, it is 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 is equal to 24. So, tandaan ha, we multiply the number starting from the given, which is equal, and then less than n. So, from, kumbaga, minus 1, minus 1. Kaya, 4, edi minus 1 is 3, minus 1 is 2, minus 1 is 1. Kaya, we got 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 is equal to 24. Next, number 3, we have 5 factorial. That's 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 is equal to 120. So, ganun lang ka-simple ang pag-evaluate using factorial notation. Now, remember class, take note that when you encounter this 0 factorial and 1 factorial, they are both equal to 1. Bakit ganon? Magkaiba ng given. Tapos same yung answer. So, remember that it's the product of a number equal to n and less than n. So, wala na namang susunod sa 0, diba? Kasi sabi dun sa definition, the product of positive integer. And then, dito naman sa 1 factorial, hindi naman natin multiply yung 1 by 0. Kasi, kumbaga dito, given na siya. 0 factorial is equal to 1. So, in short, tandaan nyo na lang, they both are equal to 1. Next, so, ano naman yung fundamental counting principle? So, ito yung another way to get the arrangement of items aside from factorial notation. So, when we say FCP, it can be used to determine the number of possible outcomes when there are 2 or more characteristics. Yan. So, involving 2 or more characteristics na. And, this states that if there are m ways to do one thing, n ways to do another, and o ways to do another, then there are n times o of doing those things. Ayan. So, itong m, n, o, ibig sabihin nito, there are 3 characteristics. Kaya the formula will vary according to how many characteristics are given. Kung dalawa lang siya, edi m times n lang. Kung tatlo, m times n times o. Kung 4, n times o times p. O pwede rin kayong gumamit ng ibang representation. So, pwede nyo rin sabihin p times q times r times s. Basta tandaan ninyo, you just multiply the number of ways. So, for example, a student is to roll a die and flip a coin. How many possible outcomes will there be? Yan. So, meron tayo ditong dalawang characteristics. First, we have a die. Ngayon, a die has 6 spaces. Diba? There are 6 spaces of a die. So, ano yung mga 6 spaces ng die na yan? These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, ibig sabihin, hindi lang isa ang makikita natin dyan. So, 6. Next, another characteristics. So, balik tayo sa die. Ibig sabihin, ito yung i-represent ko as M. Yan. Ito yung M refers for the die. Next. May coin tayo dito sa problem. So, nag-flip ako ng coin. Diba in flipping a coin, ano yung faces ng coin? These are head, tail. So, yung tawag ng iba sa Tagalog ay cara cruz. Diba? Cara cruz. Ngayon, ito yung tatawagin ko ngayong N. So, sabi nga sa FCP, it's the product of 2 or more characteristics. Kaya, ang mangyayari niyan, I will multiply M by N. Ang M ko is 6. Ang N ko ay 2. So, that means 6 times 2 is equal to 12 outcomes. So, pag niroll ko pala yung die at na-flip ko yung coin, makakakuha ako ng 12 outcomes. Ano yun? Siyempre, so, pwedeng lumabas yung 1 head, 2 head, 3 head, 4 head, 5 head, 6 head. So, may 6 na ako. Or, siyempre, pag may head, may tail din. So, pwede rin lumabas ang 1 tail, 2 tail, 3 tail, 4 tail, 5 tail, 6 tail. So, i-add ko itong lahat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, eksakto, there are 12 outcomes. So, ang sagot natin is correct. Yan. So, diba? So, mas naintindihan nyo na ngayon kung paano ma-determine ang number of outcomes or number of ways. And this is about permutation. Okay, another example. For a college interview, Robert has to choose what to wear from the following: 4 slacks, 3 shirts, 2 shoes, and 5 ties. How many possible outfits does he have to choose from? So, ilang possible outfits kaya ang magagawa ni Robert? So, siguro itong gato yung ginagawa ng ibang artista. Nagmi-mix and match ng mga outfits nila. So, mukhang madami. Pero the truth is, pinagpalit-palit lang nila yung combinations o yung permutations pala. So, dahil 4 ang ating mga characteristics dito, may slacks, may shirts, may shoes, and may ties, Ang ibig sabihin lang niyan, ang ating pagkuha ng permutation ay gagamitan natin ng P is equal to M times N times O times P. Kasi apat sila eh. So, ang M ko ay 4 times 3 times 2 times 5. So, that means 120 outputs. So, you see ha, makakapag-produce pala si Robert ng 122 outputs. So, pwede siya makapamili sa 120. Diba? Ang dami ha. Pero, wag na nating ipakita sa tree diagram. Baka maubos yung oras natin. Basta, ganyan lang ang gagawin nyo if you want to determine the number of possible outcomes. So, that's FCP. Now, ano-ano ba yung mga permutation formulas? So, dito sa permutation formulas, you are going to determine the right formula. So, depende sa conditions. Depende sa case. Ano ba yung mga different conditions and different case? Okay, let's try the first. So, yung kagaya ng ginamit natin kanina, when do we use n factorial? So, ayan. So, makita nyo kanina ha. So, n factorial, if expanded, is equal to n times n minus 1 times n minus 2 times n minus 3 times n minus 4, and so on. Example, a mother has taken fresh sitaw, lakitang mais, o yung tinatawag na white corn, saging matching, o may matching pa, so kaya in short, banana, and makapuno from the farm where they live before in some part of Barangay Mahabang Parang. Yan, so may farm sa isang bahagi ng Mahabang Parang. How many possible ways can be arranged the following products that are freshly taken from the farm? So, ilang beses nating may arrange. Una muna ay sitaw lang. Then, second, sitaw and lagkitang mais. Third, sitaw, lagkitang mais, and saging matching. And fourth, sitaw, lagkitang mais, saging matching, and makapuno. So, makikita ninyo, hindi sabay-sabay na i-arrange. Una-una lang. At saka, may isahan, may dalawahan. So, ganyan, gagamit ako ng table para mas makita ninyo. So, we will use table to illustrate the permutations and derive the formula. Yan. So, heto po ang ating table. So, first column, the size of the set. And second column, the number of permutation na minsan tinatawag nating multiplication rule. And the third column is the factorial version. So, ito yung representation niya in factorial form. So, doon sa number 1, sitaw lang ang aking i-arrange. Dahil isa lang siya, I can say that n is equal to 1. Siyempre, sabi ko kanina, diba, sa rule na dapat nyo tandaan, diba, 1 is, of course, equal to 1. And that is only 1 factorial. Next, number 2, sitaw and lagkitang mais. O, ilan yan? Ay, diba, dalawa? So, n is equal to 2. So, dahil ang nag-start tayo sa 2, so, minus 1 is 1. Kaya ang times natin is 2 times 1 equals 2. And this is equal to 2 factorial. Next, sitaw, lagkitang mais, and saging matching. So, ilan yan? 3. So, therefore, n is equal to 3. O, dahil ang first number is 3, I will multiply 3 times 2 times 1. So, dapat isipin nyo, pababa ang i-multiply nyo. Hindi pataas, kundi pababa. And that is equal to 6. So, ang 3 factorial is equal to 6. And fourth, sitaw, lagkitang mais, saging matching, and makapuno. So, bali, 4 siya. So, n is equal to 4. So, starting with 4 minus 1. So, times 3 times 2 times 1 is 24. So, that means 4 factorial is equal to 24. So, these are the number of arrangement that you will get depending on the size or depending on kung ilan yung inyong ilan yung inyong n. Okay, another example. How many ways are there to order the letters in Ophelia? So, ang ating pinaka-item ay Ophelia. So, paano yan? Madali lang to. We are going to determine how many letters are in the name Ophelia. So, ilan ang letters? Ilan? So, there are 6. So, yan. So, there are 6 letters. So, in short, let n is equal to 6. Paano natin malalaman kung ilang beses natin yan mai-arrange? So, gamit ang n factorial. So, that will be 6 factorial is equal to 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 is equal to 720 ways. So, ganun pala kadami. Kung paano natin i-arrange to, ha? Pero wag na nating i-prove kasi baka maubos ang oras natin. 720 mahaba-haba yan. Ayan. So, moving on. So, meron na tayong first formula, ha? So, that is about n factorial. So, ano naman ang second? The second is to determine the number of permutations of n objects taken r at a time, which is represented by P of n, r. So, ibig sabihin, hindi lahat ay taken. Sabagay, tama naman yun. Yung iba taken, yung iba hindi. Ako taken na, di ba? May sinaisama pa yung sa real life, ha? So, not all items from n are taken. So, in this case, we will use the formula P of n, r is equal to n factorial over n minus r factorial. Yan. So, kanina, pag taken all at a time, n factorial lang. So, ito naman ay taken r at a time. Kaya, magkakaroon tayo ng ratio of n over n minus r factorial. Example. There are 5 sweet delicacies that your mother prepared for fiesta. Mukhang puro pagkain na example natin. Nagugutom pati ako. And these were ubing halaya, buko salad, sweetened makapuno, leche flan, and buko pandan. So, 5 yan. If you are supposed to help your mother in preparing the dishes to be served to your visitors, then, in how many possible ways can you arrange the 5 delicacies if 3 sweet delicacies are served at a time? Ayan. So, ito yun. 5 yung delicacies, pero ang itatake nyo lamang ay 3 sweet delicacies. So, ito yung nagpopol under the second condition. So, permutations, the number of permutations taken are 8 a time. So, in short, we will use the formula P of n, r is equal to n factorial over n minus r factorial. So, ang n natin is 5 and then ang r natin is 3. So, it's equal to P of 5, 3. So, by substitution, P of 5, 3 is equal to 5 factorial over 5 minus 3 factorial. And is equal to 5 factorial over 2 factorial. Such that 5 factorial is equal to 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 over 2 times 1. So, pwede nating i-cancel na yung 2 and then 1. So, ang matitira na lang is 5 times 4 times 3 is equal to 60 ways. So there are 60 ways to serve the delicacies out of 5 when taken 3 at a time. O, yun yung ibig sabihin ng second formula. Okay, third, distinguishable permutations. Ano naman yung mga distinguishable permutations na sinasabi? Makikita ninyo, there are some letters that are repeated. So, kumbaga may pare-pareho, may nauulit. Doon kang sa Ophelia, walang nauulit, di ba? Oh, so they are distinct. Ito naman ay distinguishable. So, anong gagamitin ng formula? So, it's n factorial over p factorial, q factorial, r factorial, or even s factorial, or hanggang t factorial o hanggang ilan. Depende sa kung ilan yung naulit. So, again, take note, this formula is used only if some letters are repeated. So, may mga words tayo na may nauulit na letters. So, let's have example number 3. In how many distinguishable permutations are possible with the letters of the word palakpakin? So, you can see that there are some letters that are repeated, di ba? So, yun ang nagpo-fall under distinguishable permutations. So, for our solution, since there are 10 letters in the word, we can say that n is equal to 10. And there are 2 P's that are alike, 3 A's that are alike, also 2 K's are alike. Therefore, we have P of n factorial over P factorial, Q factorial, R factorial. Yan. So, lalabas, ang P natin ay para sa P. Ang Q natin ay para sa A. And then, ang R natin ay para sa K. So, by substitution, we have 10 factorial over 2 factorial, 3 factorial, 2 factorial. So, when expanded, this becomes 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 over 2 times 1 times 3 times 2 times 1 times 2 times 1. Now, these are for beginners. But if you are used to this, pwede nyo nang hindi ipakita yung expanded form. Yan. So, ngayon, pinapakita ko lang kasi we are just starting. So, pwede nyo na rin laktawan tong part na to. Kasi pwede tayong mag-cancellation. Paano yun? Look at the next solution. So, ano yan? Dahil this is a form of a fraction, so we can cancel the numerator and denominator. So, ano nakakita nyo pwedeng may cancel? Here. 2. And this one. Diba? And then, 4. Ay, ma'am, wala naman pong 4 sa baba. Meron. Pag tinimes ko to, 2. And this one. Diba? Di 4. Kaya, this 2 times 2 is 4. Pwede ko i-cancel sa 4 sa taas. Ano pa? Okay, meron pa ritong 3. May 3 ba sa taas? Yes. So, pwede ko cancel yan. Yan. So, you see ha. So, ubos na yung denominator. Yung 1. Wala namang any number multiplied to 1 is 1 eh. So, huwag nyo nang pagurin na sarili nyo i-cancel ang 1. Okay. So, ngayon, anong natira? Ito lang ang natira. Yan. Ibig sabihin, yan ay multiply natin. So, 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 is equal to 151,200 ways. So, ganun pala kadami ang magiging arrangement ng letters ng word palakpakin. Yan. So, that's the third, distinguishable permutations. So, ano yung pang-apat? It's circular permutation. So, from the word itself ha, pag may nakita kayo na word pertaining to circular in meaning, then it's circular permutations. And you are going to use the formula P is equal to n minus 1 factorial. Napakasimple lang. Okay, so let's have example. There is a junior high school math camp in the division of Rizal held at the oval of MPNHS. Wish ko lang magka-oval ang MPNHS. Many students are participating from the different secondary schools. The math campers are grouped into 10 groups with 8 members each. Each group is asked to form a circle, and they will be sitting on the ground. If the seating arrangement is circular, so yan, may clue na kayo. Pag nakita nyo na tong mga word na ganyan, di ang gagamitin nyo is circular permutation formula. Tanong, in how many possible ways can the 8 members be seated? So may binanggit ditong 10 ha, 10 groups lang yon. Pero, ang pinag-uusapan dito, itong 8 members na to. How many possible ways daw can the 8 members be seated? In short, ang atin n is equal to 8. And, to get the permutation, it's simply 8 minus 1 factorial, which is equal to 7 minus 7. 7 factorial is equal to 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 is equal to 5,040 ways. So, yan. Mahigit 5,000 pa lang magpapaikot-ikot yung mga 8 members na yan. Ha? So, tsak hilo sila pag nakuha nila lahat yan. And, yun. So, hanggang 4 lang pala. So, remember this. Your goal in this lesson is to apply the key concepts of permutations, particularly in using the formulas. However, before solving a problem, you must take note first of the importance of understanding the problem and infer what formula are you going to use. You should know to differentiate the different kind of permutations and make a wise decision based on your knowledge and understanding of these concepts. Ayan. So, in short, intindihin maigi muna yung situation, yung problem, para malaman nyo, ano ba ang tamang formulang gagamitin ko? Gagamitin ko ba yung n factorial? Yung taken all at a time ba? O yung taken r at a time ba? O gagamitin ko ba yung distinguishable? O yung circular permutation? Kasi madali namang mag-substitute Ang mahirap ay yung pag-a-analyze ng tamang formulang gagamitin. And once na alam nyo na yung formulang gagamitin, madali nang mag-solve. Diba? So, for your assignment, this March 26, meron kayong 3 learning tasks. So, the first learning task, ito yun. Can you show me the way? So, I will, kumbaga, i-post this in our GC. At ang learning task 2. And of course, ang learning task 3 na sa notebook isusulat. Okay, so, I hope you learned something for today. Madali naman ang lesson natin, basta iintindihin. So, before I leave, I want to share this to you. Galing kay Gregory Willis. So, ang sabi niya, life is full of permutations and combinations. Sometimes, the order you do things matter. Sometimes, it doesn't. But in order to find the solution in life, you must work through each possibility presented to find your opportunity. So, ano ibig sabihin yan? So, lahat ng problema natin. Oh, may mga solution yan. Oh, kung meron kayong mga hinarap na challenges at mga problems, oh, for sure, may mga solutions yan. May mga different possibilities na masolve yan. At hanapin nyo lang yung tamang paraan at ang tamang opportunity. Okay? So, goodbye everyone. So, salamat sa pakikinig. Sana may natutunan kayo. At bago ako maghiwalay, lagi ko sinasabi sa inyo, mahirap ang sitwasyon ngayon. Basta tandaan, always keep safe. Okay? So, bye-bye. Love you all. Maingay na ang aking mga aso. Nakikigulo na sa aking pagre-record. So, goodbye.